Hello there. If you like the sound of the occasional acorn or 2 or 5 dropping on a metal roof, boy, have I got a video for you. It's my neighbor's carport. An acorn tree making that music, man. There's also birds out here though. The wind's nice. Sun, clouds. God makes a masterpiece of art for us. It's fresh constantly. It's amazing. I haven't really known where to begin with this one. But a good friend of mine asked me about how the heart of man plays into spiritual warfare. That's something I've been musing on. But also, just here lately, well, that one's a chicken. A male chicken. If you heard the rooster, let me know. Anyways, I know birds. I know chickens have beaks. Yeah, but in my own life, it seems that I feel like a wall of resistance. Like right as God was saying that things were coming, and it's interesting. It can be confusing, and I think a lot of people are going through something similar because God is moving and He is blessing, and what He says He'll do, He will do. That's a good bit of acorns. Wow. Man, if I was a squirrel, I'll tell you what. But part of it, what it is stretching. I was texting a dear brother of mine last night. And shout out to Joshua. But he was asking me how I was doing, and we were kind of talking about that. And it's like, well, I know God's still moving and working, but I'm not exactly seeing the fruit bear at the moment. And just like, it's becoming more difficult, if I'm honest, to wait and be patient. And part of it's like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like 100 ideas of what I could be doing and focusing on. But part of it is intentional to just wait and see. And it's not that we should be entirely still in our waiting season. I mean, sometimes God asks us to do so. But sometimes He's like, just take a step. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, man, this is something I brought up to my friend. I was like, kind of feels like I'm playing a game of Minesweeper. Just trying to figure out the right path. But I mean, with God, you don't have to worry about the mines. You don't have to worry about the fowler snare. And if He's saying that He's bringing you into a new season, and that there's no longer going to be these things holding you back, if you let go of them. Let go of the past. Let go of unforgiveness. Search your heart. But it's hard right now for a reason. I made a video, I guess a couple weeks ago. I don't know. The one about the shaking, though. That was interesting. I heard a prophetic word or two talking about the shaking and whatever. And I mean, I was talking about it primarily in the context of purifying of the church and like the falling away of those who will not continue to trust and have faith and follow God right now. The devil's going to use, well, and his minions. And we have our own flesh fighting against us. It's part of the hard thing. Spirits of delay at work and whatever else. And we're going to be like, okay, cool. The dog's just sniffing the flower as long as it doesn't eat it. Some flowers are toxic for dogs. And this one likes to roll in the grass and he's allergic to it. Huh? You guys like to see the dog? Say hi. Yeah, you don't understand what's happening. You just like being pet. That's cool too. That's cool too. Yeah, he likes to roll in the grass and then he like his eye gets all swollen and whatever. I don't know, man. Not my dog. I just help take care of him. But he's cool. He's cool. But these things, there's resistance trying to get us to resistance against the growth as well as healing, and healing is required for growth in a lot of cases. Doesn't feel good, and there's going to be resistance, especially spiritual warfare resistance, but like your own habits, your own traumas and life experiences and all that is going to like try to pull you back, going to those old places or maybe new ones for comfort when there's an uneasiness in your heart. You need to see whether or not that's from the Spirit, and sometimes it is. Sometimes he's saying, wait and be still. But what I was getting at with, but we're not always called to be still, is sometimes it's just like, take a step and trust me. See what happens. I'll redirect you. But first you have to be willing to walk in the direction of the promised land. First you have to be willing to leave your Pharaoh. And then I will show up as a pillar of fire and a cloud to guide you. Soak in that thought for a second. But, you know, God's not delaying. I saw something the other week. I don't remember who the quote is from because it was someone quoting another person. I don't know who that person was. I don't remember like names and titles and junk. My mind just like hyper focuses on the details and labels don't stick. But anyhow, the point is, it was brought up how clocks are not proven to measure time. However, they do measure themselves. It's the Greek idea would be chronos versus kairos. Chronos would be like the measured sand dripping through the hourglass, how we as humans consider time, which time really is only relevant, exists for something that has a beginning. God was always there, so he's outside of time, and Kairos is the idea of God's perfect timing, how he works things out, how he shows up and answers prayers while you're still praying them. Trust him, because part of the shaking is also pulling the impurities out of us, that reshaping, that on that potter's wheel that maybe you felt being pulled and stretched. It's because he is, I don't want to say repurposing you, but he's fitting you for your purpose that he's calling you to step into. And you may feel like this weird kind of emptiness a little bit, like I did last night, till God spoke to me, and I just like, kind of like, I know you're coming through, God, but man, I don't want to share this stuff. But I kind of have to, because I want God to really get the glory that he deserves. Because whatever he's about to do that you guys may bear witness to is not by my hand. Yeah, I still have extremely severe chronic pain and fatigue. It's hard to function on a daily basis. Sometimes God brings you to a point to where things are impossible for us. And it's about teaching us to trust in God's character, not in a specific outcome in a certain way or at a certain time like we have in our minds. That's not faith. Not the way that we should have it. Should be, and sometimes, there's a caveat to that, of course. It's like when you pray, then, believe you've already received it and all that. But it's when God tells you that he's going to do something, and then you're looking around like the Israelites in the wilderness, where they were being provided for, by the way. It was that growing, they were out of their bondage, and they were being prepared, molded to be able to contain the promised land. And that's what's happening right now. And there is this shaking out of the impurities in us, as well as the body as a whole. If we had the smallest inkling of just truly understanding what is in Scripture alone about the blessings we'll receive, but just the teeniest inkling of the blessings that are on the horizon, that are coming with the rising sun. Like, it's imminent. If God says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. But first, he might bring you to the Red Sea with an impassable ocean in front of you, and Pharaoh and his chariots, the strongest army in the world, behind you, pursuing you, trying to pull you back. That could be your own heart and your own habits, or your heart remembering the times that you've been let down, times promises were broken, not by God, but by people close to you, said they'd never leave, or maybe parents who never really saw you, or the thing is, God is the father of the prodigal son story. And we think and we focus on the son so much, and we don't think as much about the father, how gracious and loving he was, how willing he was to bestow gifts, good gifts, upon not only the son who had returned, but who had always been there. Remember, the other son was like, I haven't left, and how come you haven't blessed me? He's like, everything that's mine is yours. I've given you the blessings. If you wanted to throw a party with a fatted calf, you can anytime you want. As he told David after David killed Uriah and slept with Bathsheba, he said, I've given you all of Jerusalem, all these riches, nations into your hands, and if that wasn't enough, I would have given you more. So part of it is like, the hurt in our heart that needs to be healed so we can grow. And that's what God's doing right now. It's part of it. Is He's not being silent to punish you right now. Sometimes he will shut himself off from people, at least for a period, and it's times when they do deserve it. But I'm familiar with the silent treatment being weaponized. Mind games. God's not like that. If he is being quiet, then it's so that you'll incline your ear to spend more quiet time with him to hear him. When Elijah was worried about everything going on, fleeing from Jezebel sending men after him to kill him after he had slaughtered the prophets Baal and shown that our God, Yahweh, Yahoo, he is the true God. He brought down that fire from the sky and licked up the entire water-soaked offering. Wasn't anything left. Pretty sure even the stones were gone. Remember who God is and the times he has shown up. Know that he loves you and he cares about you. And he is doing something greater now. The heart gets all flustered. So after all that, I'm going to see a different Elijah. There was the Elijah who felt the presence of God, seen him working. He had boldly appeared one day, gone to the king's palace, and declared he was going to start a drought in all the land. And then there was this other Elijah, one who ran, one who was waiting. And in his time of waiting, he questioned when God would show up. Maybe would he still show up? As he ran and he took shelter under the broom tree in the desert, and it's like, God, I'm all alone. Jezebel has killed all your prophets, and I alone am left who serves you. I just want to die. Then the angel of the Lord Christ showed up and said, look, I'm calling you up to the mountain. Eat this cake. You're going to need this sustenance. Get some rest. But you still know that I'm God. Just follow the steps I'm calling you. The strength of that one meal, whatever kind of cake it was that was baked for him, traveled 40 days up to the top of the mountain. And there was all this chaos. He had to take shelter in a cave because there's wind that was shearing off rocks off the face of the mountain. There was a great earthquake, a roaring fire. God wasn't in any of those. He was in the stillness and the quiet. That's what he's bringing us to. We don't know how close we are to having that encounter and receiving the next instructions. Because God was just like, man, what are you doing here, Elijah? Have you forgotten who I am? Go back. There's still work to be done. I'm still with you. Look, you're not alone. There's all these prophets that, whatever his name is, I want to say Malachi, but could definitely be wrong. If you know, let me know in the comments. But the guy who had hid, I believe it was 100 prophets in caves and was feeding them. It was like 50 to each cave, I believe. And he said, look, you're going to go and appoint a new king, head over King Ahab, Jezebel's husband. Not much of a husband, not much of a king. It's like lusted after what his heart wanted. He had the money. There's the one thing about the one guy he killed to get the vineyard, to get his vineyard that was set apart to be given to his ancestors because he was from the tribe of Issachar. And he's like, no, I will not sell this vineyard. And Ahab was like, look, I mean, I will give you a better vineyard, anything you want. But the guy knew, man. He's like, no, this is from the Lord. This is my portion. I'm content with it. It's supposed to go to future generations. So part of the spiritual warfare of the heart is being content, not trusting. Speak scripture to your heart. Edify your own heart when it's chaos and the devil keeps on bringing up the what ifs. It's been so long. God hasn't shown up yet. Because I've gotten myself into a lot of trouble. And that's what I'm working on figuring out now is, moving, taking steps. But I've been brought to a place to where it really is impossible for me to do what God's calling me to do. Even just with putting out these messages here, it's very hard because of the pain and the fatigue most times. Then I've been brought to the Red Sea with Pharaoh behind me. Like I've been brought to a place to where our resources have dwindled, and it's kind of what God's doing right now It's more the shaking, purifying us, but also purifying the body. Hold on, stay on the potter's wheel, because you're being enlarged to contain what he is about to give. Because it's like Gideon's army. God said, it's too many. If you win with this number, then people might say, oh, well, they're just that fierce. Wow. No, it's gotta, when we submit to the Lord's way, when we are like Christ, like, God, this is hard. This cup can pass from me. Good, but alas, you are the king. Not my will, but your will be done. He will bring you to impossible odds to show his power and glory. Not just for you, it will increase your faith, but it'll be a testimony for others to help edify and build up the church and to bring new members into it. Because there's been times where my heart has grown weary, and who knows how many times I've been so close to spiritual breakthrough. The enemy doesn't like that. And the old patterns and the doubts, beliefs that we have in our mind, it's like Abraham. We try to take things into our own hands. Abraham and Sarah, and that Ishmael, that's not, God said you were going to have a kid with your wife. You don't have to find some other way to make the will of God happen. He's got it. That's preaching to me. So there's been times that I've grown weary. Like, God promised me that he would bring me a wife, and that's been I think it's like my sophomore year of college. I've been waiting. Doesn't mean that blessings passed me over. I know it hasn't. That's why I'm like, if you know me in real life, that's why I'm like, look, like, I know I'm not going to die. Not yet. God fulfills his promises. I might die on my wedding night, but I know God said he would do this. So till then, I don't have to fear. I don't have to fear death anyways, but that's a whole nother tangent. We'll wrap this thing up. But there's been times where, like, I did, I got lonely. I looked for comfort in the wrong ways. Rushed things. And it wasn't always with bad people. But when it's not the will of God, it's because he's got something better and greater. It's like all these past years, man, like about a decade now, me working on entrepreneurship, trying to get a business going and all this stuff. And so many times I came to where I had partners and people willing time or two to fund everything. It's put into my hands. Here, manage this for me. Fell through time after time after time after time for years. But it's because it wasn't the right time yet. God's shaping you and me for the right thing at the right time. We have to surrender the desires of our heart to put his will first, like Christ did in the garden. And we will be greatly elevated. Everything that's been holding you down, keeping you back, especially everything that the weight that the enemy has tried to throw on you. Yeah, you're about to be buoyant. You know, God's going to lift that and remove those things. They're holding you back. If you just have faith and trust him, hold on. You'll be lifted up like Christ was. Our inheritance is to rule with him. Look, I mean, the glass has been falling apart for a while, man. They don't even have a. They're in two pieces, man. They're not supposed to be like. These are crappy glasses, mind you. They started falling apart like a couple weeks after I got them. So the screws didn't stay how they were, but missing a nose piece over here and all this stuff. That's why I don't wear my glasses in my videos most of the time and all that. But it's just like, I'm just being vulnerable. It's like, I don't want to go around wearing glasses like this. But I'm just showing that, like, look, like, I know what it's like to be in a hard position. But also, it's like, part of it was like, I do need to take better care of myself and correct the lies that, were just impressed on me my whole life, that like I wasn't valuable and all that stuff, because God does value you. He does see you. But if we submit our heart to him, chase his kingdom first, like he's gonna give us everything. Like he knows what you need. He knows what you want. He gives good gifts. But yeah, the heart, man. The heart wants to feel whole. Hi, fly that looks like a bee. Hey, the suckers are skittish. Well, there's flies that mimic bees. It's pretty cool. But yeah. The heart wants to be whole, but the thing is that we gotta rest and reassure our heart sometimes, and make sure it's aligned with God, but also like, because that's what the devil will do is that he doesn't force feed a desire into you. It's what he plays off your own desires. He watches you, your own woundings. For me, it was like always being unseen and unheard. So like I desired someone to see me, to show me affection. But that led me not just in romantic situations, but friends who weren't really friends, who like I put up with things I shouldn't have. And part of that ties into spiritual warfare, because it had to do with spirits of delay and people who try to hold you back from your calling. It's like right now there is this emptying and this changing, this shift, and it's talking about feeling weird earlier, and part of that might be that you're like, yeah, no, my desires for more than this. Like I know I'm supposed to be doing things for the kingdom, and like, when's it gonna happen? Or like it's like spirit's unsettled within me, because it's like, yeah, situation looks the same, but behind the veil, if you know anything about theater, you got the curtains and you got what's going on the stage, but just because there might be an intermission or a change between scenes, you don't see anything on the stage happening in front of you right now, behind the curtains there's work happening. Things are being set up. So listen. Just take time to relax and listen. And whatever God is pulling you to, your steps might be sloppy at first, may not be the perfect straight path, but listen and then go towards it. And then God will take care of the rest. Like when he told Elijah to go and replace King Ahab. He's like, all right, you feel like you're alone? Nope, there's all these other prophets. I held everything in my hands the whole time. And send these other guys to support you now. I've been aligning them. I've been preparing them and bring you together, this convergence, so that now's the time that the entire hierarchy is changing. And you're not alone. You never have been alone, but I'm about to show you the people I've prepared to walk with you. Anyways, thoughts on that for now. Anything you want me to expand on, hit the comments, all that jazz. But yeah, no, I just God's gonna take your broken vision, He's gonna give you new sight to see when you wait upon the Lord.